And this is the thing. I told her, like, hey, listen, I'm not in love with you. And to be honest, you don't really want to be with me because you want to be with somebody who feel the same way about you that you feel about them. And that is not me. I do not have those feelings for you like you have for me. So I like in your mind you think I really want to be with you, but you don't, because I want to be with you like that, and you don't want to be with somebody like that. So knew I'd be his fiance when he was broke on Causeway.
I played that clip for a reason because she said I knew I'd be his fiance when he was broke on Causeway. Now let's go ahead and get into this video. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about two people named Tobe and Fat. Now, if you don't know who these people are, Tobe is a rapper and he makes music related to Black excellence, celebrating the culture, you know, our natural being, nurturing Black pride in his Nigerian roots or whatever. And that's what I get from the music that he represents. There's a lot of positive messages in there, no booty shaking, no degrading, just natural Black history in the making, and a lot of positive messages that don't normally get recognized in the industry. And I believe his first break where he blew up was after he made that small snippet of the I need you to arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor. Go ahead and check that out. But I'm not familiar with his whole story as a person because I'm just now getting to know who this person is. But there's a story out there of how he met his wife, who he nicknamed Fat. I'm not sure how she got that nickname, but they got married, they have 3 children, and now they do a lot of shows together. Now, there's a story out here that has been circulating throughout the net, and there's some videos that have been talking about Tobe and Fat regarding their relationship goals. And also, I found this particular video that I'm going to talk about on the Nick at Night show, where she was discussing her take on the union in regards of people saying they are relationship goals. So I'm going to go ahead and put that link down in the description. And also, I want you guys to check out the original video as well, and I'll put that link down in the description. But since watching those clips from her channel, I got a little curious, so I wanted to go over to their video and dive a little deeper into their love story and see what's going on, see what all the hype was about, and see why everybody went from loving these two people to now being frustrated with how their love story began. Because as you can see in the comment section, from before until now, a lot of people were kind of for these people, and then now you see the recent comments to where they are saying otherwise. As you can see, these older comments, it says 4 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where it's saying when part 2 coming? Love you guys. I really needed this. You said one thing that stood out to me was purpose. He said, look into your mouth to see what your tonsils are saying. Laugh out loud. Laughing face. I love how they share their story. Dang, Tobe, I'm low-key hurt. I'm not fat. So a lot of people, since watching this video, have said a lot of good things about this video. And as you can see, the comments are a little bit different now. As you can see, it says, I'm slightly concerned about how people think this is relationship goals. Oh my God, he really feels like he's settled and insists on it, reminding her while she views him as the prize. Right here it says, this is so embarrassing. Your husband is telling the world how much he didn't want to be with you. And you got the nickname Fat. Hold on, you got your nickname from him calling you fat, and you just ran with it. Like, free yourself, sis. This man ain't it. He made it clear how he feels about you. Don't let a man tell you more than once he doesn't want you. Words every woman should live by. And while reading these comments, like most of us do, like me, I read the comments first. I watch the snippets first, the clips and the videos, and then I go ahead and watch the video to see what the hype is about. And since reading all these comments, I watched the video for myself. Now, while watching this video, I saw a lot of uncomfortable moments and a lot of cockiness, boasting, arrogance, you know, all of that stuff is evident in the video. And so after watching it, I was kind of wondering why they even left this video up to begin with, because it looked a bit embarrassing. And I couldn't understand what good people had seen in this. Then I sat back and I thought about it, and I came to the realization that, you know, I can kind of appreciate them putting this video out here so raw, so real, and so honest, because one thing I can truly say is that we are not perfect people, and that we are a work in progress. And we usually only get to see the perfect version of couples and marriages. But the reality is we come across people like this. We come across situations in life to where we have this story, and because these may not be the only people that have a story like this. One thing we know is that a lot of people have effed up nasty ways and habits, and they have to go through a lot of things in life, relationships, breakups and makeups, and a lot of stuff to get it right. And I think in part 4 of this video, he did acknowledge his cockiness and he did acknowledge his arrogant behavior. But let's go ahead and watch a few clips on what everybody is talking about, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more.
When we first met,
I was live. I was, you know what I'm saying, I was walking in my purpose. I was doing my thing. I was like with God. I was low-key like Enoch. Low-key just about to be transcended straight up into the...
All right. I just felt like God wanted me to leave. Like it was just nothing happening there. I was gonna get stuck in the box. Like I'm from the hood. Like
you trying to make it sound way more spiritual than it was. You talk about
getting into all
God
that. That's exactly why I didn't say it, because I wasn't getting into all
I was saying you ain't gotta say it, but you don't gotta make it seem like it was just some type of spiritual encounter that made you come to Houston. What happened was something bad happened. You was like, oh, I gotta get up out of here.
But before that, I had always felt like I was supposed to leave, like I wasn't supposed to stay in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's what I was getting on. You just went completely left.
My bad.
Anyway, so.
Now, as you can see, the cutoff game was strong. There was a lot of cap, and there's a lot of communication barriers and things that these two may not have recognized, with him not even realizing how he's coming across, and with her not even realizing what she's allowing to happen. Now this I see as a prime example of not knowing how to communicate. Because in order to communicate, one has to listen, and not also just listen, but listen to understand. And when you're not listening to understand, sometimes you can come off as assuming and interpreting things your way and only your way. And that's a product of one way or no way.
Next day or like a couple days after or whatever. So we ended up going, and he was up. He was like, you know, leading the meeting, like, you know, getting all the volunteers together and stuff like that. And that's when I saw him. So then when I saw him, I was like, man, I could marry this man. Like, this is like, I felt like, you know, like he was for me. In that moment, I felt like he was for me. He was like...
I was like, stop. All right, but continue. So bottom line is, she was like, on like, oh my God.
You know how like boy meets girl, like boy find like things, like falls in love, like thinks girl is the one, like he knows instantly, all that stuff. Well, those roles were reversed.
Absolutely.
It was reversed. I was the one that was like, yo, like, you ready?
And hold on. And before y'all think like, dang, what's wrong with him? Nothing. She ain't look nothing like this. Her favorite store was Charlotte Russe.
He hated that haircut. He said it made my head look big. So yeah, I was, you know, and I was managing Charlotte. Well, I was working for Charlotte Russe at that time. I think I was just about to get my management position. But so I had to hook up. So I was all in there.
A hookup that nobody wanted.
He wasn't thinking about it. He wasn't interested at all. He wasn't interested at all.
Keep going, Fat. All right, what happened next?
So, what happened next?
You had two choices. You could either
flee
from me.
So when he was like, you know, I'm not into you or whatever, he told me.
No. I said you. Like, I don't like you. Stop looking at me like that. I don't like you like that. You are. You know, when somebody look at you in church, you can't say like, "Hey, stop!" Like, get away from me. You got to say something like, "Hey, sis." What up, sis? Come on, sister.
He made it clear.
What up, family? What's going on, family? That's what I hit her with.
He made it clear that he did not look at me like in a romantic way.
Sister of come on, sister in Christ. Come on, all the colloquialisms. I gave it all to her. All right, keep going, Fat.
So I had a choice, right? He was very vocal, so I had to make a decision. I could either take his honesty and keep on moving with my life and just like not be affiliated with him at all. or I could take his advice, understand that that's not what he wants. A relationship is not what he wants, and I could become his friend and have him in my life as that.
It's not a relationship enough. I thoroughly wanted a relationship. I just did not want you. It's not that a relationship is not what he wanted. I just didn't want you.
With me, okay.
So as you can see in the comment section, a lot of women will never be able to understand how this woman will be able to stay with a person that and verbalize that, you know, that she was not the first option. And the reason why I say that is because that stuff matters. Like a lot of men, there's a saying from a lot of men that when you know, you know. And in this case, he's verbalizing that he didn't know, he didn't see it, he didn't feel it. And he wasn't even attracted. Like initially, none of those things came about. And so as you can see, like in the video, you guys just have to watch the whole video. She said that even though he said I was not the first option, I made it my choice to become his friend. And as you can see, he said that she was a friend with a motive, and the motive was to get him. And you do see a lot of women, they feel like, okay, if I stick around, if I do all of these things, if I work really hard, then I'll be able to get the man. And a lot of women do settle to become friends with benefits, hoping that status will turn into a relationship. And as you can tell in the beginning, when he tried to tell the story the way he knew it to be, and she tried to tell a story that would look picture perfect, you can kind of see that she doesn't want him to tell the story because she's kind of low-key embarrassed about how the love story went and how she was not the first option and how they may look like to the people in the public. And that's understandable. And this is what some would call struggle love. And a lot of people have different interpretations of struggle love. Some struggle love can be financially, and some struggle love can be like this, when you're struggling to get what you want. And also that ride or die type love that people talk about. And you also hear Tobe say that she was more of a ride or die type chick, not a chick that he would be initially interested in. I'm not going to play all the clips, but you have to watch it for yourself. But I'm just kind of verbalizing what was said throughout the video, part 1 all the way through part 4. And I want to get into a lot of things, a lot of possibilities, whether this was the safer option for him, whether this is a dangerous game to play when you're trying to force love, or the possibilities of wisdom, growth, and learning, and also different types of love if you continue watching this video.
My life as that.
It's not a relationship enough. I thoroughly wanted a relationship. I just did not want you. It's not that a relationship is not what he wanted. I just didn't want you.
With me. Okay.
There we go.
Let me say with me.
Praise God.
It makes that much difference.
It does.
Don't. We engaged.
Touche.
Exactly.
Touche.
So yeah, I had a choice to either take his information, walk away, not be involved with him at all, or I could have him in my life in some capacity. So I chose to be his friend and still understand that he wasn't looking at me in a romantic eye or anything like that. Like, it was just, and I felt like he was mine. Like, he was like, we were supposed to be together, but maybe it wasn't how I thought it was. Maybe it wasn't in a romantic way. So I chose to be his friend. And I became
with intentions.
I became
with secret
the
intentions.
Best friend he ever knew.
It was like Roger to Tia and Tamara.
Stop saying
that. Roger was like Urkel to Laura, Myra to Urkel. Any type of obsessive friendship. No, let me just be honest.
Was Myra obsessive though?
Out of control.
She wasn't like Urkel.
Hell.
She was just very like controlling with Urkel, I think.
Okay.
Wasn't she?
I don't necessarily remember the fine details, but I just know that you was way. It was a friendship, but you could just tell. Like, hey, can you? And you would just be like, oh yeah.
Now, what I can see, despite the arrogant attitude, is that there is some rhetoric out there that's put on men to look a certain way, to verbalize how they feel about women, to humble themselves and not appear as thirsty, and to not verbalize their women as the prize. And you can see that cockiness in him to where he is not trying to look thirsty. He's not trying to verbalize that his woman is the prize, and he's trying to look like that strong alpha male from what a lot of men says it's supposed to look like. And the way a lot of them make that look can look strong on the surface level, but emotionally immature on a deeper level, because as you can see how he communicates with her, it's emotionally immature and dismissive and inconsiderate. But at the same time, that's just coming from a woman's point of view, which is my point of view. But at the same time, another man will look at that as he's being honest, he's being straightforward, and he's telling you how he feels, and you chose to go down this path. So a lot of people will look at it in both ways, and they will call it emotional versus logical. But then at the same time, this man did put a ring on her finger. He did accept the responsibility, which you will hear him say later on in part 4 on how he looked at love one way, and then now he understands how love is not just a feeling. And I want to talk about that. The reason why I brought up the alpha male rhetoric and how they put out how it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be when it comes to thirst in women and staying in control. I say that because I see her in all the videos. I see her on the banner, on the customization. I see her at the award shows. I see her everywhere. So it's cap. I know you guys have heard that actions speak louder than words. And when you think about how actions speak louder than words, you can think about how a person can tell you what you want to hear and you don't see any action behind it. They can secretly tell you that I love you, we're together, we're in a relationship, we're this, we're that. And then outwardly, they will never post you. They will never show you. They will never introduce you to their family, their friends. No one will know anything about you. And in this case, this guy speaks. In this case, I see a guy that wants to show a hard exterior and act like he wasn't so thirsty, which I don't want to call it thirsty, but he wants to act like he was not so involved, moved, or passionate about being with a woman. And you can also see in another video, he said he had a hard time telling her that he loved her. And a lot of people, including myself, has had a hard time saying they love someone, even in a romantic sense, because in the home, we didn't tell each other that. We didn't tell each other that we loved each other. And so when you don't grow up in a home to where you're expressing you love someone, then it's hard to. And I believe there's a lot of things that she showed him, or she made him realize, or she opened his eyes to, not just as far as like love, but just not just mentally, but spiritually. There's a lot of things that she may have showed him or taught him that he hasn't felt before, to where she has opened his eyes on a lot of situations. And sometimes that can happen. And sometimes God can put a person into your life to teach you a lesson, or to open your eyes to certain situations. And that's just something that I believe personally. Now, whether these two make it or not, I'm not sure of. I think this woman has been around for a while before he even blew up. So I can't say that this is a money situation, or I can't say that this woman is around and putting up with a lot of things because of his status, because she was around before he blew up. But at the same time, I can say that a lot of times what people say and what they do not match up, whether it's one way or whether it's the other way around. And this right here, in this case, I see a man that is portraying a certain image, like he don't care, like he don't have feelings, like he wants to play the tough guy and play this role. But then at the same time, I see a man that his action shows that he loves this woman. His action shows that he has a deep connection and he feels something much more deeper than what he's portraying, based on the actions that he's portraying. Because if you think about it, he doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to have his wife in all his videos. He doesn't have to put her up on a banner. He doesn't have to have her go everywhere that he goes, because literally she's everywhere that he's at. He doesn't have to have the kids there. A lot of celebrities, you don't even know that they're married. You don't even know who their spouses are, let alone what their children look like, because they keep them private and they keep their personal lives behind closed doors. And that's how a lot of people are able to even cheat that way, because you don't even know that they have a family. And so he could very well have did that, kept her behind closed doors, or because he expressed how he doesn't feel a certain way about her and how much he's ashamed of her, or how he doesn't feel the same way she feels, he can basically express those feelings by not showing her off, by keeping her in the dark or keeping her private. But he doesn't do that. He puts her in the forefront. And so because I see that this is a man that says one thing but shows us a different thing. So this doesn't add up. This doesn't match up. But he's doing that because he is uncomfortable with the fact of expressing emotions and expressing his feelings. And so, and a lot of women are wondering why she is still with this man, and they couldn't put up with something like this. But I believe that she's still with this man because she knows that he's not the person that he's portraying on the camera. Now, that's just what my opinion is. I'm not sure, but I believe that a lot of people know who they are dealing with and who the person is, who the person really is on the inside, and who they deal with behind the cameras versus who the person portrayed in front of the camera. And I believe that the reason why this is left up, because he very well may believe that the attitude he's portraying makes him look good until somebody tell him otherwise. And although a lot of people are celebrating you, they're still preying on your downfall, and you got to be careful with that and make sure that your relationship is strengthening enough to withstand the devil's workshop. All right, as you can see here, right here, this song called I Choose You. This is a song that, to me, I believe that expresses their love story and his version of being in love and how he interprets love. And then I'm going to also go to the part 4 video where he talks about that. But let me go ahead and just play this small little clip from this song, I Choose You. And then we can go ahead and get over to that clip.
Look, my biggest problem is I don't believe the concept of in love. In college, I was with Whitney. When she kissed me, I felt in the heavens had descended upon me so strongly. I was wrong, B. She came from the big apple, wrong tree.
All right, so in so many words, he's saying that he didn't understand the concept of in love, and he was wrong about his concept of in love until he found someone that can show him what that feels like. And there's a lot of different versions of love I want to talk about towards the end of this video. But let me go ahead and play the clip of him talking about his versions of being in love on part 4, Twisted.
If you have no clue, you don't know anything. And he was like, if you know that is the best thing for you, why would you be out here looking for the next best thing when you have the best thing with you? And I was like, I guess I don't know what else it is. He's like, you need to just honor and cherish what you deem as the best while you have her with you. So when I had peace in those 3 areas, I had absolutely no problem coming up to Fat and telling her, hey, listen, I want to be with you. And I told my homegirl at first, I was like, yeah, look, I'm gonna tell Fat I want to be with her. She's like, you gonna propose? I was like, are you silly? Are you crazy? I said, I want to be with her. I just want to be boyfriend and girlfriend first. I'm like, no, let's just see if that works. So I went and told Fat, and Fat, when I first told her, because you gotta understand, now it's been like about 5 years of Fat desperately wanting to be with me.
No.
Look at. So when I tell her I want to be with her, her initial reaction is what?
Stop playing. Like, I don't have time to play with you. I don't have time to play.
She literally
said. Let me go back, because when we went through that break and we started like becoming friends again, and then he started acting like he was interested again, I initially did not want to. I didn't want to, because you gotta understand, like, it's just been years of me like, oh, you ready? No. Are you ready? No. You ready? Like, it had been like years of doing that, and I was tired. At that point. I told y'all I had given everything to God. I was like, he gonna work this thing out for me. He gonna send like who I need. I'm good on you. I want what God has for me. And I was just tired. And so then I talked to one of my mentors after we had that conversation. And she was like, you know what? Has he like lied to you or tried to intentionally do you dirty? I was like, no. Like he was always.
To be sad. I would sound extremely stupid because you cannot clearly see that love has absolutely nothing to do with feelings. What does that have to do with me? In fact, he said if you can understand that at a basic level, you can understand that they asked him about the commandments and he told them which ones were the most important. And if he said love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself, then you can clearly see that love has absolutely nothing to do with feelings. And then it has everything to do with being a command and a choice, and you cannot command feelings. I was like, what you mean? He's like, if I told you to be sad right now, be sad. I command you to be sad. I would sound extremely stupid because you cannot do that. You cannot command feelings. He said, but love is a command and it's a choice. So if you can honestly say that, because I always felt like the love that I had for Fat was like a real ride or die type love, a real like conscious, like I know exactly who you are, you know exactly who I am type love. He was like, if you can honestly say that you love Fat, then that in itself is more than enough. That's all you need. But the world has gassed you up to make you believe that you need feelings. You have to have this little euphoric feeling. And if you don't have that feeling, then it's not love. And that's a lie. And it's to trigger the enemy, but they gave it the term in love. You could fall in and out of love. People, no, you get feelings, you lose feelings.
You know, with that being said, like I can see the confusion behind, you know, a lot of people feeling insecure in the matter of knowing whether a person really loves them or not, especially if they wasn't the first option. And the way he's verbalizing it as if, okay, I'm going to lose her. She knows everything about me. I know everything about her. She's a ride or die. She's down for me. She's willing to do any and everything for me. And I don't want to lose somebody like that. But at the same time, I'm not in love with her. I don't have feelings for her. And she wasn't my first option. So I can see the fear behind why a lot of people feel the way they feel, especially when there are people out there that have been married 10, 20, 30, and 40 years that say that the way I looked at you the first time I met you is the same way that I feel about you, and I look at you on this 20th year anniversary, this 30th year anniversary. And so that can be kind of contradicting when you see people out there like that, and that's something that you're chasing or something that you may never get, and wondering if that can happen for you or not. So it can be scary and dangerous to put yourself in a situation to where it feels like you are settling, and then if the right person does come along, you can possibly lose everything you have based off of a feeling. But in this video, he's also expressing, you know, things on a conscious level, on different levels of love and different levels of unconditional love and responsibility in the assignment that he was given, and the assignment that he took on, and how he was able to understand what love looks like and feels like to him, because maybe, like I said, she has opened his eyes to a lot of things that he was not aware of. And a lot of people haven't got that experience yet to get their eyes open to other things outside of what they only know. A lot of people do settle for the safe option. I remember that there was an episode I seen on Ready to Love where AJ had two choices. He had the one that stimulated him and sparked his interest, the one that, you know, put the flame to the fire, and then he had the other one that was a nice one. He knew that he wasn't going to have anything to worry about, and she was a safe option, and he knew that he still could be happy, but it wasn't the one that sparked the interest. And so he was torn between the two of who he wanted to choose, and he ended up choosing the non-safe option. And then what happened was that woman didn't choose him, and so he was left by himself. Now, even though this was a dating show, this is still a lot of what goes on in real life, and this is why we go through a lot of trial and error, and we are so head over heels with the people that give us that feeling. But a lot of times those people are not right for us. Y'all heard the song from Mary J. Blige, I Love My Mr. Wrong. Now the Mr. Wrong is the one that gave her that spark, the one that just gives us that spark, the one that you just can't get over, that just does something to you. And they may be Mr. or Mrs. Wrong, but you hold on to them because there's something about them that give us that feeling. But you know that these are not people that you can live your life with, or create a family with, or have something stable with. And not all the time is this so, but a lot of times this does happen. And people kind of sometimes tend to get tired of the same rodeo over and over and over again until they just find somebody that is the safer option. Not saying that they don't love them, but they didn't initially get that feeling that they got with somebody else that gave them that feeling. But they did learn the meaning of true unconditional love. You have a pragma love, which is an enduring love, and then you have an agape love, which is universal love, that spiritual love. Then you have the stoic love, which is a family type love, and then you have the passionate love, the obsessive love. You have so many different versions of love to where a lot of people may think this is a certain type of love that's associated with family and stability and those things, which those types of love, that type of love may not be the type of love that you need to have a healthy family, if that's something that you're trying to have in your life. Now, a lot of these different types of erratic, mania type, obsessive, passionate type love, usually they're temporary because they don't stem from anything other than. But when you're looking into somebody's soul and you're looking into your situation and where you want to be in life and your goals, and you come to a certain point in your life to where you're trying to value something else, then your idea and your look of love looks a little different and feels a little different, and you can better appreciate the person you're with, the status and the feeling you get behind the love that they are giving you, which is something that other people can't give you. Now, the danger behind you not coming to this conclusion, because as you hear, he said that, okay, I took upon all of this and now I have a responsibility, and that is more important than just chasing something that I'm not going to say is unreal, but can be temporary. If you don't come to the conclusion and to the responsibility of the assignment that you made in your life, then you not having those initial feelings about somebody and not choosing them first can get you in a lot of trouble, because all it takes is just that one person that can do it for you, that feeling that you haven't gotten before, because you just never know when that person can come or when that feeling can come about, and it can get you in a lot of trouble because you can become real curious to try to figure out something that you never had. And a lot of people do cheat this way, get divorces this way, or cause a lot of turmoil in their marriage because they're trying to chase something and feel something that they never felt before or they haven't experienced before. And that curiosity may take over even the strongest people. It happens. And you find yourself questioning yourself to whether you feel like you're missing out on something or you're losing out on something. If you don't take that opportunity, then maybe you may have missed an opportunity. And that can very well happen in this. I'm not going to say this case because I don't want to speak on their marriage like that, but that can very well happen in situations like this, when you're choosing the safe option, when you're not choosing your partner as the first option, or you don't have romantic feelings for them. Someone can come along and give you those romantic feelings, and it could just mess up the strongest of people that has come to the conclusion that they will be disciplined and they will take on a responsibility and not let anything else stand in the way. And that's just kind of what is dangerous behind it and how a lot of people are looking at it. But at the same time, that's not to say that a union like this can't flourish, or two people can't be taught different things and grow from where they started at and blossom into something more beautiful now, because they have learned from each other and they was willing to grow with each other and make those necessary changes that need to be made in life to better themselves and become better people for each other. And to me, I just think that that's what's going on here. From then until now, I see a lot of growth. I see a lot of changes. I see a lot more appreciation. I see a lot more emotion, and I see a lot more maturity when it comes to valuing each other as human beings and for the role that each other play in each other's lives.
You know what I'm saying? We became cool after a while, and like was just on some platonic friendship stuff, and we would tell each other about the dude she was dating or a female that I was dating, and we became cool. And then after stuff didn't work out with the people that we were talking to, we got, you know what I'm saying, a little bit closer, but not like that. Like it was extremely platonic, and I was just like a really good option. But I always thought she was like a solid option. So it was the first time I had ever been in a venue where at least 5 different chicks that at one point in time I either wanted to talk to, like they was interested in me, blase, was in the same venue at the same time, and they was all looking extremely beautiful. But the only thing it was, though, I did not have the urge to talk to not any one of them. So much so that I told Fat, hey, don't go too far away. Like, stay close. Stay close, but still don't get no ideas, because I still don't want you like that. But don't go too far. So I had to.
One thing I want to point out about what he just said about that is he's got so used to her being around and her getting to know him on a personal level that he's seen all these beautiful women in the room, and he didn't even have a desire to want to approach them or talk to them because of the feelings that he gained towards Fat. And it sounds like that love started to grow on him, and he started to see, I guess, women in a different perspective, in a different light than what he was used to seeing just only visually, because he was able to experience something else. I can say that, you know how people say there's always a person out there for someone. Well, this woman looks like she has a lot of patience with trying to guide and humble this guy, and he even expressed how he became more humble, and I'm going to play that in a minute. And God allowed him to see how arrogant he was. But there's always someone for everyone that will be able to change your outlook in life. The only thing that's just a little bit concerning is that she can sit there and allow him to express how he feels about seeing beautiful women, not seeing her as a beautiful woman, and also wanting other options. It can play a big factor on the emotions behind a woman, but as you can see, it doesn't bother her, and she's able to look beyond and past that because she has a certain type of mission when it comes to him. And a lot of us can't do that. A lot of that's a really hard thing to do. Some people can be very complicated, and some people can be very hard to deal with. And as you can see, they are meant for each other if this is what's meant to be. But at the same time, I just hope that his outlook on somewhat settling doesn't mess up anything in the future. Family doesn't split up behind that.
I started to pay attention. I started to watch, and he was different, and he had changed, and he was just softer. It was.
I don't know about softer.
No, I mean not softer as a man, but in his tone, talking to me, it was just different, right? It was just different. It wasn't on some hey,
you need to find you some better adjectives.
I'm a stiff arm you. Give me at least 5 feet at all times, like that. It wasn't all right, you can come a little closer. I was like, maybe this is a little.
I wasn't on some hold my hand type stuff though.
I didn't say that.
Well, you said softer, and then
I meant in your tone, not as a man.
Put it out there.
He's not soft, y'all. He's not soft.
Man, you ain't gotta say that either, because then that makes me look even more soft. We try to talk. It's all right, y'all. He ain't soft. He's strong. Him a strong man.
For him.
All right. Good job. Look at him. Good job, man. Good job. So, anywho.
So I started paying attention.
Now you see him express so candidly how he's not soft, putting on the strong exterior, which is nothing wrong with expressing yourself, but a lot of men think that it is. But then you see him right here expressing his love for Fat.
Would you love me if I was young? Then he asked a couple questions. He said, would you love me in the room? He said, could you love me on the road? She beautiful, right? And you also get in this form. But when I met you, I just remember a different form of you. And I told her, man, older. So I had to look in the eyes like I'm looking you in the eyes. And I told her that I'm gonna be with you for the rest of my life. And I told her, man, it would be hard
to be with for the rest of my life. I want to choose somebody who I deem is healthy, strong, fit to carry my seed. And I'm thinking about the future, right? And then God got on my head so heavy with like, dang, what? When did you get so just confident and arrogant within yourself that you just really feel like you know what healthy look like? So when I had peace in those 3 areas, I had absolutely no problem coming up to Fat and telling her, hey, listen, I had a problem not being able to say that I'm in love with Fat, right? I had a problem not being able to say I'm in love with Fat, right? And I talked to my boy Devin, because I always felt like the one I want to be with, I want to have like butterflies. I just want to have those ooey gooey feelings on the inside, right? He said you have a real worldly perspective of love. You remember when they asked Jesus, they said, hey, of all of the commandments, what are the most important ones? He said, that's easy. Love God with all your heart, then love your neighbor as yourself. And I was like, all right, what does that have to do with me and Fat? He said, if you can understand that at a basic level, you can understand that they asked him about the commandments. And he told them which ones were the most important. And if he said love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself, then you can clearly see that love has absolutely nothing to do with feelings. And that it has.
All right, you guys, as you can see, I gathered a few clips up. There's a lot of things that we may not understand, and a lot of things that may have looked concerning, and a lot of things that started one way and ended up being a growth factor, and some things that we can learn from and look at in a different perspective when it comes to these two, and also when it comes to a lot of people that have been settling and may be in a long-term relationship or a marriage with someone that they're not in love with. And we also need to look up the definition of love and what it means, what it's supposed to feel like, whether it's often confused with infatuation or desire or temptation, or a lot of things that's not associated with agape love or associated with unconditional love. You got to also realize too that men and women don't see love the same way, especially when it comes to a long lifetime partner, a husband or a wife. As you can see that a man, when he chooses his wife, he looks at certain things that he wants out of that wife. And most of the time, the exotics, the Instagram models, the people that society wants to push upon you are not really the ones that they marry. They usually marry someone of the opposite spectrum of that, because they're looking for something different when it comes to love, when it's going in that direction. But of course, we can't make that happen for them. They have to come to terms with that themselves. There, you can take the good with the bad. And that's why I can appreciate this video being out here, because there's a lot that we can learn from people when they're not portraying themselves, in a perfect manner. I can't really speak on whether these two are going to make it or not, but I do pray that they have a long, prosperous marriage, and they can continue to be an example for other people, because there's not a lot of examples out there to show what a healthy dynamic is supposed to look like, even through the good and the bad. And so you guys comment below, let me know what you think about this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you like this video. I'm out.